Right now, the situation is very dangerous. They deporting people, they jailing people.
ICE is systematically removing them from the United States.
Because fear of deportation, I sell my house. No more hope for me in this country now.
Sit here, buddy.
Daddy.
Mauritania never invented anything, but they invented method of torture. I fled Mauritania because I feared persecution, and indeed I was persecuted.
Closer.
I lived in the United States for almost 18 years. I earned my master's in business administration, and I am a US citizen. So I become the person to go to. People come to me for anything, for, how do I plan my wedding? How do I file for my green card? How do I do this? And then, because I'm willing to go above and beyond and help people in my community. So that's why I started this community work. Since Donald Trump became a president, more than 50 people that I know have been detained and deported, only in Columbus.
In anticipation of deportation, Mauritanians are selling their houses, selling their cars, liquidating their 401ks, because they know that if they go to check in with ICE, they might not return.
This is Refugee Road. Most of the refugees ironically live on Refugee Road. We are going to meet today Mauritanians in a threat of deportation. However, he told me that he doesn't want his face to be shown because he fears retaliation by the immigration or the ICE. They sold their house to move to a friend's house, and he lives in a teeny tiny basement.
The destination is on your right.
Hey, we here.
I sell my house because I was scared to be deported. I sleep here in this basement. In this house is my friend's house. It's a night time. I put my mattress here, do like that. I got my pillow, my blanket. Yeah, what I do. It's the night. When I wake up in the morning, I fold it, put it back. Yeah, this is my suitcase where I put my clothes. It is the only thing I have left here in this country. This is my book, my worship book. Asking God to put you away from ICE. I have my kids' paper too here, the birth certificate of my kids and the social security. I have 3 kids. This is my social security, you see, since 2002 till now. When I was buying the house, I was thinking, I'm American now. This is my living room. When we brought the new couch, I went upstairs and I take a picture of the living room. You see, this was my backyard. He was playing soccer over there, me and my son. This is my daughter, who was cutting grass. It was my garden and my backyard.
We still don't have the power to deport the 11 million undocumented immigrants. For people who wish to see that number dramatically shrunk in a short period of time, there's this alternative theory. The idea is that you increase their sense of dread and terror with the hopes that instead of having ICE round up all these people, you have the people rounding themselves up and leaving. For decades, ICE ignored the Mauritanians of Columbus. They asked them to come visit maybe once a year. But now ICE insists that they visit their offices every month.
So this is the corner of Broad Street in front, and that is where ICE is located. They're on the 3rd floor. So this is where anybody who has a removal order and is required to report in regularly will go. Somebody that's reporting into ICE would typically come through these brass doors into this beautiful, opulent lobby. They don't know if they're going to be detained and deported back to their country when they go in. They may not ever see this lobby again.
Mauritania is still not safe. The United States should never deport somebody to a place where slavery is practiced, because practicing slavery already means the worst human treatment.
Mauritania is a country on the western coast of Africa, ruled by Arabs. But there is a subpopulation of black Mauritanians who speak different languages, and for the last 30 years, they've been oppressed. They were ethnically cleansed, they are enslaved, and if they go back to Mauritania after having fled, there's the possibility that they're going to be tortured, perhaps even enslaved.
So, what is your next plan for ICE when you go to check in?
If nothing is changed, before that day I will leave the country, go to Canada, me and my kids.
From the perspective of the Trump administration, packing up his belongings, preparing to leave the country is a success story. We're in a new era. Mauritanians responding with the self-deportation does show where the arrow is pointed. There's this incredible irony to the Mauritanians of Columbus, Ohio. They ended up clustering close to Refugee Road. But now, with ICE ramping up its enforcement, I saw refugees fleeing Refugee Road.